What's going on, my peoples? Hey, this video I'm dropping right now for all the rookie truckers out there, or anybody that think about coming in trucking. I'm gonna make this one short and sweet. You know what I'm saying? And this one right here, this one all got to do with experience, stuff I experienced and stuff friends of mine's experience as truck drivers. So this video I'm gonna talk about what's the best trucking company to work for. And this doesn't goes only for the rookies. This also can go for like anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm only talking about companies that's over the road. I'm not talking about local. What's the best over the road companies I would advise a rookie trucker to go to? You know what I'm talking about? And my number one answer that I can come up with, and this is all based off my experience, start looking for companies that's closest to where you live. And it's a reason for that, man. Let's just say let's just say that you go with a company. Say you live in Florida and you go with a company that's in California, and it's not a very big company. It's a small company, and they don't really have terminals all over the place. Guess what? When you get ready, it's gonna be an inconvenience for when you get ready to leave that company to take their equipment back into either their terminal or a safe location that they tell you to bring it. You know what I mean? So you should start based closest to your house, I think, closest to where you live. And nowadays you can pretty much find good companies all over the place. So I know a lot of people, they just see those big companies on YouTube and stuff, and see those big companies driving around like, you know, like Prime and Stevens and Swift. You know, those companies like that. So everybody always think that they need to go to those big companies, but that's not the case. I would start off by companies closest to where I live. And another thing I would start off by is I would look into the size of a company, man. If you if it's a company that's close to where you live and they're not that big, but all their drivers are saying something good about that company, I might look into that company for the simple fact that, you know, a smaller company is, you know, the more attention to details they might pay to you whenever you got something going on. You know what I mean? So that's a very important thing that I would look at. You know what I mean? Another thing I would look at when I'm choosing a company is how often could they get you home? Because believe it or not, some people don't want to be on the road for 3-4 weeks at a time. Some people really want to get home either 1 to 2 weeks. And that comes up with the point that I'm saying that you should look for a company closest to where you live, because more than likely they'll want their trucks to come home often. So I don't think it's wise, if you live in Florida, to work for a company that's in California. I just don't think it makes sense. You know what I mean? And I say this, that I speak from experience, because I was working for this company, although it's not that far away, although it's in Georgia and I'm in Florida. And when it was time for me to leave the company, I had to bring the equipment back, and I had to find my own way home. You know what I mean? So they was out in the middle of nowhere in Georgia, and when I brought the equipment back, I had to really it was really hard for me to get home, man. I had to take the bus. I had to stay in a hotel, wait for the next day, then get on a flight to come back home. You know what I mean? It was very inconvenient, man, to come home. You know, so you really gotta take your time and really choose a good company. You know what I'm saying? And another thing when picking a company, man, just because you got a friend that's doing good at one particular company, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good for you. You know what I mean? You got to look into what do you want out of a company. You know what I mean? Instead of worrying about what other people's doing. You know what I mean? And sometimes you can't just look at the money. You know what I mean? Because you might go to a company that's saying they're going to pay you 60 cents a mile. Let's just use that for example, even though ain't nobody paying 60 cents a mile. But And then there's another company that's paying 50 cents a mile, but the company that's paying 50 cents a mile, they're going to get you 3,000 miles a week. And the company that's paying 60 cents a mile, they're only going to get you like 1,500 miles a week. So that's like a no-brainer on what company to go to, you know what I mean? So you guys got to be very careful and really think about what company you choose, you know what I mean? And if you go to a company, man, and it's not working out for you, like, don't be scared to leave. Like, you're gonna have a lot of people that's telling you about job hopping and shit like that. Guess what? People don't stay at companies like they used to back in the days. It's not like back in the days where you hear somebody saying they work at this company for 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like that over the road no more. You know what I mean? So if you're at a company and they're not treating you good, like, don't be scared to leave. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you to make yourself happy, man. You can't just stay at a company just cause. You know what I mean? And another reason, man, another thing you guys should watch out for these YouTube vlogging, YouTube truckers. I call them YouTube truckers recruiters. You know what I mean? They they'll work for these companies, and they'll speak up these companies so much, and it'll make you think that these companies that they're working for is the best thing in the world. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta know that some of these guys are getting paid to bring in drivers if drivers stay, so they're not gonna tell you nothing bad about the company. You know what I mean? They're only gonna tell you like all positives. You know what I mean? So you guys really gotta watch out for these company cheerleaders out there. There are a lot of them out there, man. And I personally don't like what they're doing, but I'm not the one to get in those type of debates or confrontation with anybody, because that's not what I'm all about. But you guys gotta read in between the lines and just be wary of these guys, man, because they work for a lot of these companies, man, that they just get on YouTube and sell these companies, man. I think they try to recruit more drivers than they actually try to work. So you guys got to really be careful for them, man, because just for instance, like some of these companies, like, for you to make money, you have to train people. Like sometimes you gotta read in between the lines. Like some of the things that comes out these guys' mouth, it just doesn't make no sense. And another thing, which I'm gonna break down in another video, is be careful of these companies that as soon as you start working for them, they try to make you go on lease purchase. You gotta be careful of these companies. You know what I'm saying? I got a lease purchase video coming. This is gonna be a long video. I might do a live on that where I invite some where I'm actually going to invite some guys that's doing lease purchase right now to be a part of the conversation, because even though I'm against lease purchase, I know a lot of guys they're doing good. You know what I mean? And if it's a couple lease purchase company that I would recommend, KLLM would be one of them. You know what I mean? Because for the simple fact where I did my review of that company and I met a couple drivers, what they got going on is set up pretty good. So I got a whole thing about lease purchase that I'm gonna bring up that I'm not really gonna get into it right now. But you know me, I'm against it, so that's a story for another day. But just know that when you guys get ready to pick a company, man, just because a company is bad for me, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bad for you. It's up to you guys to do your own research and choose a company that you want to work for. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's all about trucking, man. Get in the truck, drive the truck with a good attitude and stay safe. And you do good anywhere you go, you know what I mean? But my number one thing is choose a company that's closest to you. And you guys will find out one day. Trust me, just don't find out the hard way.